Hey everyone, Joshua Fekes Quest here. This is going to be a podcast. I'm going to try to do one of these once a week. Can't really guarantee it. It should be Friday by now by the time this posts. I'm going to try to do one every Friday. But I've had this one on my mind for a while, and some of these are just going to be involve me rambling. I might even have an interview. This one I actually do have an interview because this is going to be about my experience with Midwest Campus Clash in Columbia College, and the interview is going to be with the president of Columbia College, Scott Dalrymple. Really nice dude, and I'm very appreciative of him of giving me the time and the space to have a recording with him or an interview with him. So I'll get to that later, but yeah, I guess I kind of want to do this as a way of just getting my thoughts out. Some events are really good, some of them are mediocre, some of them I haven't really. I guess I haven't had a bad event, and there's reasons for that. Columbia College, though, Midwest Campus Clash, it's always been great. I've been, I think, 3 years of running now. The first one, the inaugural one, the second and the third now. I've been a shoutcaster, and even I think I did like a slight hosting thing 2 years ago. They gave me a mic and wanted me to introduce people. Yeah, totally fine with that. But it's been a great time every time. So, Columbia, Missouri is a very small town. If I'm not going to Midwest Campus Clash, I'm probably not going to Columbia, Missouri, unless I'm a big Mizzou fan, or I guess if I'm going to Columbia College, because I think they have teams, but they're not like the big schools like like Michigan, Ohio State, Florida. Yeah. I mean, you all know the ones. Alabama. If you watch collegiate sports, you know the teams I'm talking about. Columbia College, though, they wanted to change that because esports came along, and you don't need a field for esports. You don't need a large arena or a basketball court or anything for esports. They have a gaming room. They have it's really cool. It's like dark blue. It's very ambient, I should say. No, it has ambience. Very ambient in there. So, yeah. I really like that Columbia College, like small schools like Columbia College, can do things. And I also, by the way, I say small school. Dalrymple will actually, kind of correct me, saying he does have quite a bit of enrollment because it does a lot of online classes. That'll be in the interview later. But regardless, it's a small campus, and they can still make use of what they have to project themselves into a some sort of sport, that being esports at this point. And that's really cool. But as far as Midwest Campus Clash goes, so this it started about 3 years ago. And also, by the way, I know I kind of started running with this, just sort of started talking, and here I am. And I don't know if it's going to be like that every week. Kind of taking liberties with this podcast. I mean, it's my YouTube, so I guess I can do whatever I want. But I do want you all to enjoy it. But talking about Midwest Campus Clash, though, it's so much fun. It's evolved a little bit more every year, and the first one obviously was it was the first one they'd done. They had built pretty much everything they had used: the computer desks, the stage. They had to set up everything from scratch. It was if I recall, it was the first college-hosted collegiate esports event in the United States, from what I understand. I mean, there's more of them now, but Columbia College, they still host a fairly large one, so much so that you do have some of the top quality teams coming out from the United States over here. I don't think no one's been from Canada yet, but Midwest Campus Clash is mostly schools from the Midwest. Maryville University's been there. I don't want to say Robert Morris. I mean, Robert Morris, they were a very big team back in the day, and they're still a contender these days, but they're like the big ones are more like Harrisburg University now and Maryville University as far as the Midwest goes. But it's really cool. It's held in their gymnasium. It's been held there for 3 years now. I doubt that would change, and I don't know if there's anywhere else to actually host that sort of that magnitude of an event of that magnitude, I should say, over in Columbia, Missouri. Like I said, it's very small. It's a very small city. It's not a city. It's a small place in the United States, surrounded by trees and mountains. Very beautiful. Big college town. You know what? Actually, that's something to note. It's very lively at night because Mizzou is right down the street from Columbia College, and Mizzou is a massive school. And last time I was there, we were in our Ubers, in our Uber singular, and it was the weekend, and the streets were just the sidewalks were just crowded with college kids. I'm 31 years old. That's weird to me. That used to be so normal back in the day, and now I see it, and I don't wonder where their parents are, but I wonder which one of them are going to be parents that night. Like 6 to 8 months later down the road. I'm probably showing ignorance at this point, but yeah. It reminds me of how old I am, especially in an industry that's so young, that has young people in it. Obviously, I work in the collegiate section of it. Even if you get outside of collegiate, the pro scene is still fairly young, sometimes even younger than collegiate, because there's like 18, 17-year-olds sometimes going into professional, and if they can manage it, and legality is all proper there. But God, I feel like I went on a tangent about the actual city of Columbia rather than Midwest Campus Clash. And I do want to talk about that. Midwest Campus Clash, let's veer back into that. So it's evolved. The first year, very grassroots, and it's still grassroots. Don't get me wrong, but man, they've really got it down. The camera work, the quality, production. And I really wish I remember who the production truck is for that. The production company is for their games now. I don't remember it the first year. Don't remember them being there the first year, but the second and third year, it improved the stream quality. There's the overall quality of the matches so much. Man, I really wish I feel bad that I don't remember them. But if anyone knows, leave a comment below. I mean, I know people are from Columbia College that might be listening to this or have attended Midwest Campus Clash and might have an idea. So yeah, leave a comment in the comment section below, please, because props to them. They increase the quality of at least what you see on stream a huge amount, and it makes my job easier because obviously I shoutcasted at those. And they're always in my ear, but they're not intrusive. They know exactly what to do. They usually host chess tournaments. They usually do those. And again, there's not huge sporting events at Columbia College, but they do chess tournaments because apparently that's a thing. You don't need that much space for chess tournaments either. Just like you don't really need that much for esports. But they grasped everything. We had a talk the second year that we were there, and the first year for them. We had a talk. My co-casters and I, we had a talk. We hashed things out, went over terminology, what we should do, what they should do, what they should look out for. They incorporated replays. The first time that they incorporated replays for an esports event, they did it so well. And it, again, especially my job, it increased my job quality of life. So I guess that's the term, quality of life of my job, so much because replays are just really really good to have in during a stream, during an event like that. So yeah, got to experience that. And then there were some flaws, obviously, like presenting I guess some of the preferred methods of presentation. Some of the players, like, they have names not from which I am accustomed to, so it was hard to pronounce them. And they didn't know they were going to be having us list off the names on the screen. So I do apologize if any of you guys that are there that I butchered your name or listening to this. I apologize for that. Just know it wasn't intentional, and it wasn't their fault either. They just wanted to have a presentation, a quality presentation, and I just didn't. I wasn't ready for that part. But also they put gamer tags in brackets, rather than quotations or anything like that, or just by calling them that. And they're just like little nuances like that I don't know, like I could tell it was the first year doing it. Second year was way better. Second year, oh my god, they had more cameras. They had rotating cameras. They had cameras floating around. It was kind of above my, like, I guess, knowledge or need to know basis thing to really know everything. But they had so many different camera angles, and on the crowd, also on me. It was they saw you if you watch the stream this past Midwest Campus Clash, you saw sides of me you've probably never seen before, and I hope it lived up to your expectations. But also they had a giant the first and second Midwest Campus Clash, they used a projector to project the games onto a large screen. And if I recall, this past one, the third one, they just flat out got a a giant LCD screen or some sort of display. Like, it was massive. And the clarity on that thing, like, again, if the camera work didn't show different sides of me, the clarity of that screen showed things on my face you've probably never noticed on a normal stream. It was so clear, it was huge. And I felt, I didn't feel self-conscious until I went back later and realized, oh, you can probably see all my pores. How nice. I probably would have wore makeup if I knew that. That was the thing, they don't have a makeup team there, but obviously, like, I any of the esports, like collegiate esports events I've been to, I have not had makeup, which is standard when you're in front of a camera. I don't really want to hear any sort of feedback on that, though if you have any, feel free to leave it in the comment section below. But yeah, it was nerve-wracking, but it was a lot of fun, of course, because I love being a part of those higher presentations, and it's really cool seeing Midwest Campus Clash get better and better and better. I don't know if I'm going to be there next year because I don't know if I have a place there anymore. I'm taking a step back from shoutcasting, commentating. I'm certainly going to cover it, and I'll probably cover it from my own home, unless I get invited out there. But I don't really think they would. I don't expect them to do that. I have a great rapport with everyone that works there. I love all the staff. By the way, that's another thing. The staff, the ones who work on Midwest Campus Clash, a lot of them are, I guess they're actually all, I can't say they're all Columbia College. I think there's some production staff that they might have contracted out, like the folks in the van out there. But the people on my headset, I mean. But everyone's so friendly. That's the thing too. And by the way, I'm moving in my chair. If you hear that, that's what it is. But yeah, everyone is so friendly. Yeah, and that's what I was really taken back with the president, Scott. He and again, you'll hear just how genuine the dude is in the interview later on. It's about a 15 to 25 minute interview. But you can tell he cares. He cares a lot about not only his school and the well-being of it, but the ecosystem of esports, collegiate esports. And it's refreshing. It's really nice to hear. He was nothing but nice, and he also, he's just a very approachable guy. Like, it was easy for me to have an interview with him because he's just a very approachable person. I haven't quite experienced that with a president of a college yet, and I've only, to be fair, I've only had a couple of experiences with presidents at colleges. I think I say a couple. I actually think three specifically. Two at my college at NKU, and Scott. And the two at NKU, what are their names? Vitruba and Mearns. I think Mearns came in after Vitruba. They were nice, but it's like I would never approach them. They're always in like business suits, like walking around. And I'm sure Scott walks around in a business suit whenever it's not Midwest Campus Clash time. But that's just not the time to be that way. I mean, I'm in front of a camera, so I am. But yeah, it was extremely approachable. He was sitting down talking to people, talking to the guests. There were so many people there, by the way. And that's the thing. So another thing that's evolved is the, I guess, finger on the pulse kind of thing of the gaming community. Because the last 2 years, there's League of Legends. League of Legends is the mainstay of Midwest Campus Clash. Like, that's what they want to host. They want to host their League of Legends team playing League of Legends in their tournament. But they've always had a secondary game. The first one was Madden, NFL, one of the Madden games. The second year was Rocket League, which is great for me because people went there to watch League of Legends, which means I got attention. And I'm a broadcaster. That's what I want. And the third year, they had a Fortnite tournament. And that place was flooded with children, parents and children. Now, obviously, that's what Midwest Campus Clash is for. Scott, conceived it to have a community bound together with a commonality, and that's parents bring their kids to school, cultivate the future, things of the sort. But Fortnite brought so many children there, and once the Fortnite tournament was done, which, by the way, the Fortnite tournament was very cool looking, had its own set of casters, its own production value over there. And once that was done, man, did that gymnasium, I won't say it emptied, but it reduced a lot. And the Fortnite tournament took hours, and it was being played or broadcasted in between the League of Legends. Because again, League of Legends, it did take priority, as far as the stream goes, as far as the presentation goes, I really feel like a lot of people that were there for Fortnite, and I say people, I mean children and their parents, because once the Fortnite thing happened and it was over, significantly reduced, and it seemed like people were drained too. I remember in the second year, once it got down to like the finals, it was very late at night on I think a Saturday, and I think it was like 8 o'clock maybe, and people were just drained. This event had been going on all day, but there was a very dedicated group in the audience that were staying rowdy, staying hyped. Columbia College was taking on, I think, was it Maryville University in the finals for the second year, and I was able to start a wave with people. I was able to get a chant out of people, and I tried that the third year, and they just let me fall flat on my face. And I don't mind. I can recover from that sort of thing, but my God, I don't know what happened to the energy in the third year, but the audience just sort of they were just not energized. It may have been because of what was happening with the League of Legends tournament. I mean, Columbia College, they made it to the finals, but they were taking on Harrisburg University, who were looking amazing in the tournament, and they ended up winning. And they perhaps knew that was going to happen, so maybe just didn't have the energy to really give a crap. I don't know, but that was an interesting turn from year 2 to year 3 as far as crowd reaction. But of course, there's more League of Legends, more in Fortnite and the secondary games over there. There's also entire arcade. I think this was set up by Texas Gaming Lounge, TGL. I feel bad for not knowing these, but you probably just Google it. You probably know. And actually, you can go to the Midwest Campus Clash website. You can just Google Midwest Campus Clash. I think all of the sponsors and brands that are there are actually on that website. But there's a whole arcade in the middle of the gymnasium, and that was so much fun. Before people got there, I was playing Mortal Kombat. No, not Mortal Kombat. I was playing Street Fighter. Mortal Kombat, I think, is a little too violent because it's the Midwest Campus Clash is a family-friendly thing. They don't want to have Mortal Kombat there. Though they did have Injustice, the second year run at the second Midwest Campus Clash, but you weren't allowed to be a woman character because if you're a woman and someone else plays a guy, that's a guy punching a woman. That was a no-no. I remember that. That's actually a big thing with a lot of campuses, is that especially like just the esports in general. That's why you don't see CS:GO as a collegiate esport. We have Overwatch, Hearthstone, League of Legends, Dota. These things that are so, I guess, stylized. Yeah, that's the word. Stylized violence. While like CS:GO is just like outright brutality, shoot them in the face. Not to mention you're playing terrorists. You don't want to do that. That's not a thing that happens in the collegiate system. So I don't blame Columbia College. Obviously they had a reputation to keep. They had PR to satisfy, and there's a lot of reporters there. Reporters from all over. Local stations just outside of Columbia College. Obviously I was there. So as loose of the reporter as I am, I do report on things. So I was there. I don't know if ESPN was there. I feel like ESPN, I think they may have wrote an article on it. I know Sean Morrison, he keeps up with it quite a bit. So does Jacob Wolf and Tyler. Forget his last name. But yeah, I usually meet up with one of them. Actually, I'll be honest. I haven't really. I think I've talked to Tyler once, and that was for an interview. But I don't really know him very well. I haven't actually chatted with him outside of professional reasons. Jacob, I have. Sean, I kind of have. I would feel comfortable walking up to them and saying, "Hey, how's it going, man? Long time no see." I wouldn't feel comfortable talking to Tyler that way. And don't get me wrong, I'm sure Tyler's a lovely human. I just don't know him that way. But what I'm trying to get at is if one of those three were there, I think I would have noticed, and I probably would have talked to there's a 66.6% chance that I would have talked to them at least. So I know ESPN is aware of it. I don't think they were there though. But with that being said, gonna keep talking about Midwest Campus Clash for a brief moment, then get to this interview. They improve every year, and it's really cool. And I'm anxious to see what they're going to be doing next year because I see small improvements that could be made, and none of them were made. I can't say that. Like they made they made some of the small improvements that I see, but these overarching improvements that I just would not have thought about. The screen, because I thought the projector was a great idea, and they made get this high definition screen, it might have been a 4K screen, based on how good I looked. But yeah, they got that giant screen, and the cameras. Like I said, the cameras they rigged up these cameras in various places that I would never have thought of. But obviously, that's why I'm a broadcaster and not one of the production crew. So I'm anxious to see what they do next year, and I hope this tournament goes on for. I hope it goes on forever. I hope it becomes bigger and bigger to where it can't be contained in that gymnasium, and there are people from all over the United States to come see it, because for one, the staff freaking deserves it. They work incredibly hard putting that together and do a very successful job doing it. Not to mention, again, they're also nice. Like I have not had one bad experience with Midwest Campus Clash. From, and this is going to get taboo because I'm going to talk about payment. From payment to professionalism to courtesy to just taking care of the people that need to be taken care of. Even whenever here we go, third year. Flights were delayed. I think it snowed the runway. So Columbia College is a very small airport. You have a puddle on that thing, and I think they shut it down. And that happened, and flights got delayed, luggage got lost, eventually recovered, thankfully. But Midwest Campus Clash, the staff of Columbia College, they were incredibly accommodating. I mean, I really wish I could remember the lady I talked to. My co-caster, Corvus, he talked to her a lot too. I want to say her name was Deborah. I'm going to feel bad if that's wrong. Either way, she knows who she is. I hope she's listening, because I want to say thank you. Thank you so much for your courtesy. She was the person who does the traveling, the booking for some of the talent coming in for Columbia College, like the staff, players, me, my co-casters. And thank you so much. You handled everything so well. And everyone at Columbia College handled that whole situation very well. It could have been a panic time. We could have not been there on time. We could have, for the first day, we didn't have our clothes. We had to go to Men's Warehouse and pick up clothes just off the rack and make them fit. And then the second night, we got our luggage back, and we were able to get our clothes back. So that wasn't too much of a problem. But either way, accommodations were amazing. Everything. If whoever's listening to this, if you have a chance, if there's an opportunity to work for Columbia College at Midwest Campus Clash, do it. It's a great experience, and there's a lot you can do in that with that sort of opportunity. So yeah, definitely do it. Everyone's great. I think I've said everyone's great a huge amount of time. So I'm going to cut that one off, and I'm going to go ahead and throw it over to the interview. This is with Scott Dalrymple, the president of Columbia College. It was on my cell phone, my Pixel 3. It was just in a room locked away, just right outside, or actually it was inside the gymnasium, but it was through the hallway of the event, and it had some of those old school brick in the wall, it's like a classroom, but the main thing I'm trying to get at is there's a lot of ruckus going on outside. Can't really hear it. It was so quiet in that room, and great place to have an interview. So check it out. Hope you like it, and give it your opinion. I don't know. I'm just gonna throw it on. All right. And I'm gonna edit this in post production anyway. So anything we say here, I can edit.
Yeah, 15 or 20 minutes long enough for us to beat Mizzou again.
That is very true.
Get that on tape. Yeah.
I did. So I'll probably post that. But I should intro. My name is Joshua Fekes-Quest. I'm here with the president of Columbia College, Dr. Scott Dalrymple. Thank you very much for being on.
My pleasure. Thank you.
All right. So we're going to talk about esports. There's a lot of history between Columbia College. I mean, I saw one of the video packages of that, but I want to get specifically into the esports part of it. Why esports? Let's talk about that first. Just why esports?
Honestly, because I raised 3 boys, and if I wanted to spend any time with them, we had to play video games.
Fair enough.
So those boys are now all grown up. The youngest is 21, but It just sort of got me into the world tangentially, and I would not consider myself a gamer other than the game Civilization, which I rock.
I play off Atari.
Other than that,
Yeah, which is the space version of that.
Yes, all the Sid Meier games. But other than that, I'm not much of a gamer. But I sort of just got into it to spend time with my kids, and then I just as a college president, I realized there's a lot of the kids just like them around here, and there's really not much of a place for them. I mean, they're they're it's considered an outcast or kind of sport done in basements. Well, why? Why shouldn't they be celebrated for being good at something? And this particular event is why not give them a venue where they can have crowds cheering for them too. And,
So I usually talk to players, coaches, managers, and even directors of esports. You're the first president I've ever actually talked to. So explain the process for that. Do you think it and you just make it happen, or is there a whole committee you talk to? Is there what's the process for getting something like this grand of a scale started?
I can't speak for all colleges, but here it's pretty much I think it and it happens.
Well, it is convenient that it's
Yeah.
a little bit smaller, more hands-on. Like you, I mean,
Yeah.
you can just kind of have control. I would say, I mean, University of Missouri is relatively big, and
It'd be harder there.
I would say even the president is like, yo, let's do this. They would have to go through various other people.
Here it's a little more easy. I'll just say is it was my for good or ill was my idea to do esports in the first place, and the clash was also, you can blame that on me too. Other people did all the work and deserve all the credit, but it was not a product of committee.
Okay.
For good or ill, I guess it depends who you ask.
I mean, it seems to be working out. So you guys have grown. I mean, I've been here all 3 years. Thank you very much for that.
You.
But you've grown all 3 years. Every year there's been some sort of improvement. Obviously, the first year you had Collegiate Star League help you with the production values. Second year you did it all in-house and built pretty much everything you guys took. And then this year, you have a 4K screen just thrown up there. That's amazing. How do you picture? How do you point things out? Let's do this better next year. Let's do that better next year. Do you have people tell you, or do you just look at it yourself? How's that work?
I think it's all of us. I mean, we all have a critical eye. I'm a small part of that. But all of us do that. My role is, I guess, executive producer.
Yeah.
I just kind of, sometimes I come up with ideas. I will sometimes walk around and say, this lighting's not very dramatic, or the sound isn't sufficient, or I don't think that booth should come back next year. But so do others. Other people have the same critical eye, and then we compare notes at the end of the year, and we decide what we can do better. And usually, if I have had ideas, I find the team has already identified them as well.
Okay.
So we just say, hey, let's just make it incrementally better next year.
So you guys, as Columbia College, you had an esports program before pretty much any school around this area. I think Robert Morris might have been the closest one, and now you have Harrisburg. But University of Missouri is bringing one up next year. Mm-hmm. Are you in contact with them? Have they asked you any sort of advice or anything? Is there any sort of well, I wish they wouldn't do it, because they are a bigger school. Do you have any sort of reservations about them coming into the scene right down the street from you?
No, not at all. The more the merrier.
Yeah.
As far as whether they've asked for advice, I can't say. It wouldn't be at my level, right? At my level, no, but they wouldn't really need it. It's very possible that at the school level or at the team level they have. I don't know, but we welcome them. We think it's great. There's a lot of colleges in America, and we're better than most of them. We're not particularly scared of any one.
There you go. Yeah. Confidence. With that being said, Columbia, I mean, it's relatively small compared to a lot of the places around the United States that have big schools and things like that. What does this mean for the community? I know you've gotten feedback from them, obviously. That we see the people out there that you're cultivating a future. What does this mean for the community as far as you're concerned?
Well, I hope it's taken positively. I did hear earlier that a group of folks at it was actually a funeral earlier today. We're complaining about the traffic in Columbia because of some gaming event happening.
Oh, well.
And I thought, well, that's great. That's exactly what we want.
Yeah, see, that's an anomaly as far as the funeral.
My goal with this has always been, like, if you're a motorcyclist, like people might say to you, "Are you going to Sturgis this year?" And everyone knows what that means. There's a big thing up there, and you go, everyone drives.
I know what Sturgis is. Yeah.
I think what my goal has always been, within the gaming community, people say to each other, "Are you going to Columbia this year?" And what they mean by that is, "Are you going to the campus clash?"
Okay.
So to the extent that we can be known in the city for gaming, I think that's phenomenal. Whether it's game development someday, or some of the cool stuff like Yukatsu is doing, I think is really neat entrepreneurially. Other teams find fantastic. I think it's great, but I do think we have a chance of becoming, maybe synonymous with high level video gaming.
Well, you guys almost are. Honestly, the Columbia College team, they are looking very impressive this year.
Well, thanks. We try, and we can't guarantee any. I always tell the coaches and the players, I don't like this Joe Namath stuff where you come out and you say you're going to win. You just you act like you've been there before. You do your best. I do like being, say, in the top 5 consistently. I think that's a nice thing to be able to say. And
okay.
For a little while, we've been there, and I'd like us to be able to stay there.
So let's talk about that. What is your role in the actual esports program, like as far as the team goes? Do you have any hands-on experience, or do you have any? I won't say hands-on experience. Do you have any say in anything? Well, it's probably not even the right one either. Do you assert yourself into any of it, or do you just let the authority?
No, I tried once, but my League of Legends knowledge is, I'm told, very limited. So I once saw the character Quinn played so well by another team that, and I didn't know anything about. I thought Quinn was a Birdman, so I just called it Birdman.
Birdwoman.
And I know that now. And I suggested to the coach that we play an all Birdman team, and he said, "Would you please leave?" So that was my one.
Was that Drake?
That was actually Fam. Yeah.
Okay, that's great too.
So that was my one foray into coaching, and I was not invited back.
All right. Fair enough.
Although I do think an all Quinn team would be pretty awesome.
It would be amazing. Fun fact, like season 4, I got to platinum playing only Quinn top.
Nice. I just love you to shoot those, whatever those arrows are, whatever that come out.
Yeah, the little critical ones that
awesome.
That have the triple ones that come out.
Yeah. So don't count out my strategy.
Fair enough. So going ahead, what do you look forward to as far as next year's Midwest Campus Clash? Do you want it to grow? Is there any sort of plans that you make like the year before to try to grow it? Like Fortnite is here now.
Right.
So you probably didn't. Just a year ago, Fortnite was just starting to get popular, and now you guys have adapted. Is that something you just look at as the year goes on, or do you have pre-made plans for certain things and you just go with it?
No, we adapt, as you said.
Okay.
First year was, obviously League is our game.
Yeah.
And it will, as long as we do this, it will remain the main stage.
Yeah.
But the secondary stage, first year we did Madden. Second year we did Rocket League.
Yes.
And as you said, this year we're doing Fortnite. I don't know what we'll do next year. We sort of, we wait a little while, take a deep breath, debrief, and then we think, maybe 6 months out, what should it be? And we'll see. I think it's important to do something different. I do. I don't want people to come. I don't want people to ask each other next year, "Hey, you going to the Midwest Campus Clash?" And the other people to say, "I don't know. It's always kind of the same." I don't want them to say that. So we want to keep adapting so that they don't say that.
Okay.
Now I want them to think it's always a high level of production, and yes, there's always League, I suppose. But I want them to think, "Wow, I want to see what they're doing this year." So that's the key, and I don't know what that'll be, but I can tell you we'll try to figure it out.
All right. Am I allowed to ask about statistics or anything? Like when you started this, have you noticed any sort of growth in the college attendance or interest or anything of the sort? Is there anything that is has it been long enough to track that sort of thing?
Well, certainly, our team itself is small. We only play League. We only have 12 players.
Right.
I will say I don't think any of those 12 players would have been here without League. They come from all over the country, and so I think that they are actually incremental students, and we give some scholarships, but they're not all here on full scholarship. So there's that. I'm not sure first of all, we don't have statistics because how would you get, I don't even know how, are there other non-players who are here because we do esports? I don't know, frankly.
Fair enough.
Frankly, I doubt it. But it's still worth doing because I think things like our esports presence and the Clash just kind of create this vibe. Anyone who comes realizes, well, this is a cool place. Mm-hmm. This is a really exciting place. I want to be in a place like this. They do neat things. And even if even somebody who's not a non-gamer. We had a lot of adults here who are dragged by their grandkids or their kids, and they have no. They tell me I got no clue what's happening in any of these things. But even they are going out, and if Columbia College comes up in their next coffee clash, they'll say, that Columbia College is really doing innovative stuff. It's not for me, but I'm going to tell my niece about it. That effect I think is very real, and I believe that we get a lot of credit for being innovative, which I believe we are.
Very much so.
And exciting, and just kind of what I call just the cool factor.
Yeah.
So you can't measure the cool factor, but it's you kind of know it if it's there, and I like to think it's there.
No, it's definitely innovative because I don't. This is all respect to Harrisburg University. They had their Hugh Fest. And did you look at that or anything of the sort? Like, do you know what went on there?
I know nothing about it. No.
Fair enough.
You mean before we did this? Did they have that first?
They did it on last. They debuted it last September-ish. So I mean, yeah. But
I didn't. But I think didn't we win that one? I think we won it.
You guys did?
Our people went to other people.
No, you guys won. I was there.
Yeah, other people.
Yeah, I was working that one as well.
I've never been to another gaming thing like that. I did go up to the Collegiate Star Finals in Toronto a year or two ago to be on a panel. But other than that, I've never been to an event. So
fair enough. The main reason why I ask is because this is the the largest collegiate-hosted collegiate event in North America, as far as I know. Hugh Fest, they may have broke that, but they had bands. There was other reasons to be there for other people. So the Hugh Fest was big. But I was wondering, like, I didn't know if you had any sort of anybody acknowledging you're coming out in contact. He's like, hey, well, how did you do this? Because Hugh Fest, I mean, it was essentially kind of what you're doing, an all weekend collegiate event.
I can't say because they haven't come to me, but that doesn't mean they haven't come to the people doing the actual work. So it's certainly possible. And we take a really collegial view of all this. If we've been in, say, online education for 20 years now. One of our claims to fame. We have more than 20,000 students. I don't know if you know that.
I don't.
We're a very large college. We have 30 plus locations across the country. Huge online program, and we do online and other things very well. And when other colleges have come to us over the years and said, "Can you help us? How did you do that?" We've always been helpful. We'll let them bring a team in. We actually just did this a few months ago. A team of college in another state said, "Hey," they came. We shared what we do. We're a nonprofit institution. We are happy to talk to other nonprofit institutions and share with them what we do. I mean, we educate people, and if that's what they do too, and we can help them do that. And frankly, we've had that reciprocated by other places. There's things that we aren't as good at, and other people have taught us things to do. So what I'm saying is that if someone does approach us about doing an event that's similar in scope or type, we're happy to talk to them. We think it's great. I mean, it'd be nice if you invited us to your event, but you can be competitive and still be collegial, and that's the tone that I'd like to set here.
I respect that a lot. That's awesome. And honestly, I know I've worked for you. This is the third year. This is actually the first conversation we've ever actually had.
Yeah.
And it's pleasant. No, you're nice.
I'm not as bad as they said.
I never heard a bad thing. But no, I mean, you always do wonder, like, how is the president of anything going to be? Because you never actually talked to him. That was very humble. I really appreciate it. And you taking the time to do this for me. I really appreciate it. Sure. So we can go and wrap it up. You have an event out there too.
We have an event to win.
Yeah. Yeah. So, any last words? Any shout outs? Anything you wanna say?
No, I appreciate you being here all 3 years. I'm glad you liked the event, and just stay tuned. I think there's some big things to come from us.
Thank you very much. My name is Joshua Beckett here with Dr. Scott Dalrymple, president of Columbia College. Hopefully, looking forward to another Midwest Campus Clash next year because they've all been amazing. So, thank you very much for inviting me. And it's gonna be it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So that was my interview. Nice dude. And also the gentleman in the background, his name is Sam. He was the one that set me up with the interview with Scott. Very nice. Again, very accommodating, very nice. And yeah, shout out to Sam. I can't praise the staff of Columbia College enough. They're incredibly humble, and they accommodate whenever you need it. So that was the interview. Again, really down to earth dude. He wants the best for the community, wants the best for the ecosystem of of collegiate esports, and I respect the hell out of that. That takes a lot. It's not just him. He's not just looking out for him. He's looking out for the entire well-being of collegiate esports. So that's really cool. That's I want to say is that going to be? I think that might be it. I think that's about all she wrote on that one. Yeah, I talked about my experiences. I mean, it was really cool meeting all the teams. I've actually met some really cool people. As I say, that's about it for me. I'm going to start rambling now. I guess that's kind of what I do sometimes. But yeah, everyone, it's really cool meeting all the teams. I think did I meet Clerk? I think I met Clerky there for the very first time. Actually, that might have been DreamHack 2016. No, I think I met Drake Porter there for the very first time. Met Julian Alexander there for the very first time. I met a lot of people, and that's just kind of an esport thing in general. You go to the events, meet people, bond, and you're either pretty solid acquaintances afterward, or you're actually friends, and it's really cool. I've made some friends. I made some solid acquaintances, and I wouldn't trade it in for the world. Even if, like I said, it might be my last time doing that sort of thing for shoutcasting specifically, but yeah, we didn't trade it in for the world. I'm not professional. I mean, I make money shoutcasting, but I didn't go pro or anything like that. But I don't have any regrets. I met a lot of cool people this way, behind the screen, behind the camera, off the camera, or I guess on the camera, I should say. Both sides of the camera, production, doesn't matter. I'm going to give that one a hashtag no regrets and sign off here. If you like what you heard, leave a comment section in the comment section below. Like, share, subscribe. Follow me on Twitter. Hit me up on Twitter. Do whatever you want on Twitter, but just, include me. I like being included. You can hit me up at twitter.com/Feques. That's PHEQES. And tell me what you think. I'll be tagging some people. Hopefully this isn't too long for you guys. I hope you all enjoyed it. And if you want any more coverage like this, let me know. More than happy. I think I have another podcast lined up. It's gonna be a duo. It's gonna be me talking to somebody. And that's actually something I've been wanting to explore as well. Just talking to people, talking to people in the industry, the collegiate esport industry. It doesn't even have to be about collegiate esports. It probably will be in some facets, but yeah, I don't know. I just wanted something different, and I hope you like it. So yeah, once again, my name's Joshua Feques Quest. Thanks for joining me, and I'll see you around.